There's one more article here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it because I'm behind a paywall. It's Washington Post. But apparently it's the two campaigns going at it. It's the two, Bernie Sanders campaign and the Biden campaign going at it. I guess I'm able to read it here. So this is an article from Jeff Stein. Says it's from April 29th. Says Joe Biden on Monday endorsed a public option that would allow all Americans to buy into a Medicare-like healthcare insurance plan, as allies of both the former president, vice president, and 2020 presidential rival Bernie Sanders begin to debate the Democratic Party's agenda. So this is basically laying out the fight that's going to be happening between Bernie Sanders and between Joe Biden when it comes to the issue of healthcare, when it comes to the issue of Medicare-For-All. Biden is obviously going to be taking the much more moderate, so-called moderate stance. I don't even think he wants a public option. I think he's just saying that. But this is definitely going to be a fight when it comes to the issue of healthcare. This fight between Biden and Bernie, especially since they are both the front runners at the moment, they are definitely going to be creating the narrative, setting the tone for where this debate regarding healthcare and Medicare-For-All and whatnot is going to be going. So, and according to the title of the piece, which is Bring It On, Biden and Sanders teams kick off debate over Medicare-For-All. That's basically, I don't know who it is, I guess we'll see in a second, but that's basically one of the other sides telling the other side to bring it on and bring on this debate. All I got to say is that, yes, hell yeah, bring it on. Bernie Sanders is going to win this fight. Bernie Sanders has the better case. And if they want to challenge us, so they want to challenge activists, the activist wing of not the Democratic Party, but the activist wing of the progressive movement. If they want to challenge us, you're going to have a hell of a fight on your hands. You do not want to deal with the people fighting for Medicare-For-All. Especially millennials, especially young people. These are issues that are affecting not only young people, but it's going to affect young people in the long run because we are the ones that are going to be inheriting this horribly, horribly flawed healthcare system where people are getting screwed. We are the ones that are going to have to deal ultimately with the system that is screwing people over. Of course, there's a lot of people right now, boomers, older people, a lot of them, God forbid, have, they have illnesses, they have cancer, they have tumors, they have whatever problems they have. My father, he is currently dealing with a Parkinson's-like illness right now. I love him and I want him. I hope Bernie Sanders, if he were to become president, he would be able to help my father. Joe Biden would not be able to help him. My dad currently does not know who he's supporting. He seems to be. He currently. I don't want to put him. I don't want to put my dad on the spot. I don't want to. I don't want to sell my dad out. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to. Attack him or anything right now. But what I'm going to say is that he does seem to be supporting Joe Biden right now, unfortunately. I think I can convince him. He needs to know that Joe Biden is not going to help him. I'm going to try and get him to hopefully understand that. We have a lot of debates regarding politics and stuff. He does support Bernie Sanders. I'm not saying he doesn't support Bernie, but he doesn't think Bernie is going to be able to make it. I don't think he thinks he's going to be able to beat Trump. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for pointing this stuff out. He's a very smart guy. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to politics, but he is somebody that watches CNN. He watches these different cable news networks. So him and I have a huge disagreement when it comes to the sources that we trust and who we kind of believe when it comes to the opinions that are stated regarding, different political debates and conversations. But he is not anti-Bernie. He is not anti-Bernie. But he's also not anti-Biden. He's not also anti-Democrats. He's, for the most part, always voted Democrats. He used to vote for the Green Party at one point when Ralph Nader was running. Now I'm the Green voter. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016, so the tables have turned. But my dad does have an unfortunate it's a illness that is, could lead to him dying. I really, really hope he can fight that. But that's something. So, like I was saying, Medicare for All can undoubtedly help somebody like my dad, can undoubtedly help somebody like any boomer, any older person out there that is suffering through any kind of incurable disease. And it's possible that my dad's illness can be cured, but that's kind of up in the air at the moment. But, but the bigger picture is, the people that are millennials like myself, we're going to be definitely affected by this for sure. And that's why we're willing to fight for this so much. That's why we're willing to fight for this so hard, and why we get very angry. Because we don't want to have to deal with the ridiculous healthcare costs that are going to be a burden on us, let alone the burden that we have regarding student loan debt. So Biden doesn't want to help the people that have student loan debt. He's literally, like I said before, he's just telling them, I have no sympathy for you. I have no remorse for you, all that stuff. So he doesn't care about student loan debt. Why the fuck would he care about healthcare debt? So not debt, but the healthcare costs. Why would he care about that? He claims to, but I don't think he does. The only reason he cares at all, even a little bit, is because he was, Obama's VP, and Obama obviously pushed for Obamacare. He pushed for Obamacare, so he did push for, in some regard, to reform the healthcare system, but definitely didn't do it enough, because he ended up pushing for a Republican-style, essentially, healthcare plan, so which ended up doing nothing for anybody, pretty much. I think, majority of these people in this country certainly weren't helped. Well, maybe. 29 to 30 million people did receive healthcare, but how good that healthcare really is? Do you get dropped from your plan? Do you get to keep your doctor and stuff? 20 million people are still, without healthcare, and let alone, dying on the streets and having to, sell their homes just so they can pay their healthcare bills. So Biden, I don't think, cares about that shit. They claim to want to have that fight, and they're going to lose it for sure. And people like me, the millennials that I know, we're going to fight that shit until the bitter end if we have to. And that's just the way it is. So they want to have that fight, bring it on. It says Biden is also expected to say he shares with single-payer activists the goal of universal coverage. Yeah, that's what they always say. And lower healthcare costs, but he does not support Medicare-For-All. So if you don't support it, then what they're saying is, we need to have a smooth transition from first to, public option, and then we'll get to Medicare-For-All, which they'll never do. They claim they're going to do that, but they're never going to do it. And it says he may reprise Hillary Clinton's argument in 2016 that her more incremental approach would build on the policies of the Obama administration rather than replacing the Affordable Care Act. Well, we don't have the Obama administration right now. We have the horrible Trump administration. And when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to issues pertaining to healthcare costs and people that have to pay, thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for their healthcare, we've taken a step back under Trump. So fuck the Obama administration. That's over with. We're in the Trump administration right now, and whatever happens now, we have to do everything double. We have to double our efforts to make sure it's to make sure we make things right and fix the system. It says here, who's this? It says we are all. Who's this? An advisor to somebody. Who's this an advisor to? Sanders called for blah, 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 single payer. Biden's plan. It says Biden's plan would create a government. It says Biden's plan would create a new government option for patients in the marketplace exchanges that would aim to lower prices for individual Americans by competing directly with private plans, according to a policy advisor for Biden, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to share details of the proposal. Employers would also be able to buy into the public plan. It says Biden is also, okay, I already read that part. So it says so this is what the advisor says. He says, we are all trying to get to a place where we achieve universal health care. I think he sees it like that, the advisor said. But if they want to go after him and Obama about their approach to healthcare, bring it on. Okay, we're going to bring it on. We're not gonna go and play nice with somebody that is pushing for something that President Obama claimed to push for. See, this is what this advisor is doing. He's probably an advisor that used to work for Obama too. I wouldn't be surprised. So he's trying to attach Obama. He's trying to attach Obama and Biden together. So, I read somewhere, saw a headline about how Biden didn't ask for Obama's endorsement yet, but he's going to. He's going to ask for Obama to endorse him, no doubt about it. Now, Obama's obviously going to endorse, I think, anybody that ends up running against Trump. But I don't believe Biden that he didn't ask Obama for his endorsement. There's no way. He definitely wants Obama's endorsement, and he's going to take it personally if Obama doesn't endorse him, for sure. But this advisor of his is trying to tie Obama and Biden together and try and see what he's trying. It's very manipulative because it's trying to create that message like, well, if you're against Biden, then you're against Obama. Well, that's not true, because a lot of the policies that Obama had, to be fair, when Obama was not as much of a sellout as he used to be, he was pushing for a lot better stuff than Biden was pushing for. Obama was pushing for Medicare-For-All, or at least some single-payer system or something, when he was running in the primaries against Hillary Clinton. So now Biden's saying, no, we're not even pushing for that. We're going to push for a public option. No, when Obama became president, he was supposedly pushing for single payer when he became president, but then he capitulated so much, he ended up going down to public option, and then he ended up going with the Heritage Foundation idea that Mitt Romney made law when he was governor of Massachusetts. So ended up just completely giving away the farm and got nothing out of it, pretty much, other than a watered-down system that still screws over regular people. It says here, supporters of Medicare-For-All also reject the idea that single-payer amounts to a rejecting of Obamacare, Barack Obama's legacy, noting the former president recently called it a good idea. Sanders voted for the Affordable Care Act and campaigned hard against Republican attempts to repeal it in 2017. So that's true. So the people that claim that Bernie, because he's in favor of Medicare-For-All, is against Obamacare are just idiots. They have no idea what they're talking about. And people have actually used that ridiculous argument. It makes no sense. It's complete bullshit. And then, let's see here. So, not this one. 1 second. So it says here, a campaign aide to Sanders also criticized Biden in a statement for attending a private fundraiser with health insurance executive Daniel Hilferty at the Philadelphia home of Comcast executive. So that same, what was his name? Something Cohen, whatever his name was. That same guy that works for Comcast, that's an executive for Comcast, was at that same fundraiser with a health insurance executive. So that's, again, it's a fucking problem. So the same guy that's going to be fighting, like I said before, against net neutrality, if you want to pick out specific policies, net neutrality, that guy's going to fight. There's another guy that's going to be fighting against Medicare-For-All. They're going to be fighting for single payer. That's why Biden is pushing. So don't. Whenever you hear all that stuff about incrementalism and we need to transition into a program, a policy that's not going too far, and it's not possible, and it's not going to work, and it's too expensive. No, that's bullshit. You're pushing for that candidate of yours, in this case, I'm referring to the advisor that claims that Biden, his ideas are better because it's going to work better that way. No, you and your guy are only pushing for that because he's receiving money from, and he's doing fundraising from a healthcare executive. So somebody that doesn't want the healthcare industry to have less power. They want the healthcare industry to have either more power or the same amount of power they have right now. So if you talk to a healthcare executive, I'm sorry. If if you're talking to a healthcare, one second. I'm sorry about that. If you're talking to a healthcare executive and you are claiming to be, I'm in favor of, a better system that transitions into this, better form of healthcare instead of what, Bernie Sanders is, pushing for, then, you just don't support getting people healthcare. Well, no, that's bullshit. We're the ones who actually supported getting people healthcare, while you want to give people healthcare, but force them to be under a health insurance plan, force them to, get insurance from their employees, which costs those companies, those companies, entities, whatever, those employers, it costs them, millions of dollars because they have to cover all these people. So it doesn't benefit anybody at the end of the day, and the quality of that healthcare isn't that great anyway. And it says, so the quote here is from a Sanders campaign aide. It says, anyone defending the current dysfunctional system needs to explain why the average family should have to pay $28,000 a year for healthcare, while the CEO of Independence Healthcare Group, Daniel Hilferty, made a $4.8 million. He made $4.8 million last year. So his salary. That's crazy. $28,000 a year for one person for healthcare, and then that guy makes almost $5 million per year in a salary. What a fucking prick. So the disconnect between Bernie Sanders and Biden. Joe Biden reflects the Democrats' policy and philosophical rift over healthcare, an argument that could help shape the Democratic Party's agenda on healthcare as the 2020 election intensifies. It says Biden and Sanders are they're leading the field. Although polling shows the race is wide open, because a lot of people are undecided. Let's see. So, that's pretty much it. This debate is going to be nasty. And the reason why this debate is going to be nasty is because people out there are suffering and they don't want to suffer anymore. People that are suffering with ridiculously high healthcare costs, they don't want to deal with that anymore. So if you're, a Biden supporter, or you're Joe Biden, or you're working for his campaign or whatever, and you're mad at people that are fighting for policies that go further than you, but actually end up helping people, then you're out there advocating for things for yourself. You don't give a shit about people. You just care about your lobbyist friends and your donors and stuff that you want to appease and you want to make feel better and do their bidding, essentially. And you'll probably even add them to your fucking administration because they're giving you money so that you're going to do them favors. If it's not putting them on your administration or putting them on your transition team or whatever it is, you're definitely going to, you're not going to put them in your campaign or something. You're like as like a, an advisor or something, or putting them as like, I don't know, the head of the, Secretary of Health and Human Services, whatever those different positions are, you're definitely going to be doing their bidding to some extent. So, and it's obvious. It's so obvious they're going to do that. There's one more quote here from. It says, although key details remain unclear, Biden's plan to create a Medicare public option could give consumers much less expensive insurance without the limited networks that exist in private insurance plans, said Larry Levitt, a healthcare policy expert at the Kaiser Family Foundation. It's a nonpartisan group, but you work for Kaiser. Kaiser is they're one of the people that they're on. Isn't Kaiser a health insurance company? So you're going out there and look at the quote that he says. It says the notion that a Medicare public option is now seen as a moderate idea shows how much the healthcare debate has shifted among Democratic candidates. It doesn't go as far as Medicare-For-All in simplifying the system, but it may avoid some of the political pitfalls. Okay, but so what is he doing? So it seems like he's advocating for it seems like he's advocating for Medicare for all, but he's saying, no, we have to do the Medicare public option because it doesn't go as far. But he doesn't seem to be against it. What I'm saying is it doesn't seem like he's against Medicare for all. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I haven't heard him before. He's a health policy expert at Kaiser. I don't know if that's nonpartisan group. I don't know. A lot of these organizations say he's a nonpartisan group, but I mean, I don't know but when it comes ultimately down to these policy debates, we need to find somebody we need to take people seriously that know that what they're suffering through is all these high costs, and what can help him and what can help people is Medicare-For-All, not just some watered down version. We don't even know if Biden is going to ultimately go for a Medicare public option or whatever, just a general public option. We don't know that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not clear based on what this person is saying. But at the end of the day, this is about getting Medicare-For-All to be at the center stage of the healthcare policy debate. It doesn't matter if Republicans are going to use that against us. Go ahead and use it against us. So what the Republicans are going to do ultimately, and the moderates and stuff say, oh well, you're in favor of Medicare-For-All. It's how could you that's too expensive, and trying to attack us as if we're in favor of that. Then you're just in favor of more people dying from extremely enormous healthcare costs and not helping people that are suffering. So go ahead and advocate for that. Go ahead and advocate for that position. That you're not going to win. So you're not going to win saying people shouldn't have great healthcare. Oh, people should have decent healthcare, meaning decent in the sense of like not Medicare-For-All. People should have the public option. People should have Obamacare. All that. No, that's not fucking. That doesn't work. I mean, that's not going to do anything. And this is a point that I made before. But when you reach for the stars, you might. You reach for the moon, you might reach the stars. So in other words, if you push for a policy that it advocates for something that's going really far and going really high, you might end up getting part of that. You might end up getting some of that policy. So you might not get the whole thing. You might get 50% of it. You might get 75% of it. So if we push for Medicare-For-All, maybe we will get the public option. But then we can advance upon that. Instead, these people want to, they just want to, they wanted, put the line in the sand at the public option and then not go further than that. They claim they want to, go in favor of universal. They want to, do this and then push for universal healthcare eventually. But it doesn't work like that. You have to at least push for the highest position possible. And then if you don't get that, at least you won't be disappointed, right? But obviously nobody else other than progressives seem to understand that. And we just push for that policy because that's the policy we want. But at least we know if we don't get that, maybe we'll get something, and it'll be decent. And it's not gonna be some watered down bullshit.